have some PVC here. So these are the drills for some PVC technical training, or even empty bar technical training for some split jerk practice for Thursday here. After you make it through the standard 10-minute warm-up and then the kind of 10-rep drill with the PVC and you're feeling pretty warm, these are the drills that we're going to work on to kind of refine your split jerk. A lot of it today is going to be position and footwork awareness, and then trying to combine it into some actual jerks. We're going to train both sides of it, both because I think it offers some unique challenges just from a movement and just a general training standpoint. And then, as you get closer to specializing in your jerk, I think that there are ways to learn something about your dominant side by having to train through some of the non-dominant side, which generally I think is less coordinated in these patterns. So, like I said, take it for what it is. This is stuff that's accessible at home with PVC or a broom handle, and let's go through. So the very first part here, like I said, we're going to train both sides. I want you to find your receiving or your overhead position in the jerk, and we're just going to go for a sustained hold. So you're going to get a timer. You may want it to be one of those timers that just beeps at you when you're done, so you're not frantically looking at the time. But we're going to hold the best overhead split jerk position you can for 60 seconds. The idea here is you want to get set up in an ideal stance. So we have a bent front knee so that the shin is vertical. We've got a bent back knee so we have a pretty good line from the shoulder down through the knee. And I want you to imagine that you've squished a bug back behind you, and you have the weight sitting there on the ball of your foot. We should be pretty well distributed in the weight between both feet here. And then we're just going to push sky high. So as you do this, pay special attention to where the tension is in your body. So I'm squeezing through my abs. I'm squeezing my right butt cheek tight so I have good stability underneath this bar. And then I'm trying to put the pipe here, or a barbell, if you're brave to do this with a barbell, directly up, kind of like behind my ears. So I have a nice straight line up overhead, and I'm just trying to maintain tension and get an awareness of what that catch position looks like. It's good maybe to video it so you can go back and see, like, oh, I'm moving this direction or moving that direction, or what felt balanced here actually looks like it's pretty off balance. And if you want to make adjustments for the next time, go for it. But if it looked good and you're ready to move on, then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So get that front leg set up so that it's vertical shin. Bend the back knee with a little bit of a squishing of the bud with the back foot there, so you're balanced on the ball of your foot. And then again, just go ahead and get it set up overhead. When you're looking at this from the front, you want to have a good spacing between your feet. We're not landing or we're not trying to jerk on a tightrope here. Similarly, we don't want this to be a very wide horse stance. So maybe, shoulder width or slightly wider depending on what your preference is. And you'll notice I have just ever so slightly a bit of like a pigeon toe. I think it's pigeon toe, where your feet are just slightly pointed towards the center line there, just to help you generate a little bit of balance and torque. And then again, once you find the position, just hanging out there and taking inventory of where all the posture, where all the tension resides in order to have a good, strong overhead position. So, minute on each of those with that about a minute break between. Then, we're going to go back to holding it, but with a different focus. So, now that we have like a pretty good idea of what it should feel like through our legs, we're going to start pressing from this position with the PVC. So, just getting a bit of a bar path awareness here. Not that there's much of a press in the jerk, but this will just allow you to have a good feel for where the bar should be in space as you're doing these jerks. And we're going to do it 10 times on each side. So again, find your leg position here, just like we did before. You're going to set up with the bar in a rack position. Elbows are slightly in front. And then real controlled, we're going to press up overhead and bring it back down. It's not a particularly heavy thing, especially if you're using PVC, but what I want you to pay attention to is, can I maintain good focus through my body and all the places that we were talking about before as I'm pressing here. So it's not 10 reps as fast as you can, it's 10 controlled reps through this range of motion, trying to keep good bar path, trying to keep good tension below, and just conditioning these positions, the place it with the bar in space. So we'll do 10 on one side, rest for a minute, and then 10 on the other. The very final piece here, before we actually start doing some split jerks, is what's called a jerk balance. So imagine here, we're set up in your normal jerk position. I want you to take your front foot, and we're going to move it back 1 foot length. And essentially what we're going to do is a jerk from this position where we take a little bit of a dip, drive, and step into this jerk. What this does here is it gets you comfortable with the idea that your torso moves up and down only with the jerk, and it's your feet that do the moving when it comes to splitting underneath it. If you were to watch a full jerk from the side, your torso should dip up and down and then fall straight down as you jerk. It shouldn't jump forward like a walking lunge. So this drill is just a way to isolate the front foot and get a good feel for that. So like I said, you're going to set up in your normal jerk position, wherever you would ideally like to land. You're going to take 1 foot length step backward with the front foot. We're going to set up in your rack position here. You're going to do a little dip and drive, and you're going to step forward with that front foot. Again, we're doing reps on each side here. Trying to just have good quality. So every time you go to do the movement, I want you to take a big breath in. We'll brace, dip, drive, and punch that bar up overhead as you take that quick step forward. Rest between sides and then do the same thing on the other side. Final piece here, like I said, with a barbell, with a piece of PVC, whatever you have access to, we're looking to log a total of 20 split jerks with your left leg forward, 20 split jerks with your right leg going forward. Just looking for quality. This is where having either a coach or a friend or your video to refer back to let you know if it meets your standards. We're not just looking to knock out 20 split jerks any quality as fast as you can with PVC. There's no challenge there. But what we're looking at, just like we do in our barbell sessions, maybe pick one element that you're trying to work on, whether that's accurately getting your feet to the same place each time, working on a vertical dip. I mean, there are any number of things that you can work on, and if you ever need some advice, you can send me a video or reach out over email, and I'd be happy to give you some direction there. But we're looking to get 20 awesome jerks, both sides, so 40 total. Every rep is the same. Big breath in, everything's nice and tight. Dip. And back down. Same tension, same speed, same focus that you would have if you had a heavy weight on the bar. We're just going through the motions, going through the full routine with just some PVC. So every time I nail the repetition, it feels good. Maybe I do 2 or 3 at a time. I can review the video, see if there's anything I want to tweak with regards to my specific focus that day, and then just go about making the adjustments. It'll take a while, especially, like I said, if you break them into 2 to 3 rep chunks, and there's a ton of intensity that comes along with it. There's a lot to be taken home by the focus that we're going to give this with just the PVC, and if you don't have access to weights, this is your day. Enjoy it.